Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at some more vintage collection Phantom Menace figures. First up we're going to take a look at Queen Amidala. This isn't one of the more exciting figures from the wave, unless politicians and senators and in this instance royalty is your thing. This isn't a particularly interesting choice for a figure, and it certainly wasn't one that I was incredibly excited about picking up. But now that I own it, I'm fairly impressed with it, and if anything else, it makes for a nice display piece. So we'll talk about this figure in a little bit more depth in just a moment. But first up, we're going to take a look at the packaging that she comes in. Once again, we have the typical vintage collection style packaging with the black and silver trim, Phantom Menace logo at the top, Queen Amidala's name below that, and obviously an image on the card. We also have a new addition. We have a sticker which indicates that included in this packet is a redemption form for the Darth Maul statue contest, which you can win a life-size Darth Maul statue signed by George Lucas, which is pretty damn cool, and I've entered it, so fingers crossed. Obviously the image on the card back is taken from the scene in the film when Queen Amidala is speaking with Palpatine and she decides to go back to Naboo. Bubble is obviously a little bit enlarged to accommodate the figure. And on the back we have that 12 back layout with the rest of the wave pictured along the back. Some vehicles below that and a bit of mumbo jumbo about the vintage collection itself. Most of these figures have seen a review on the channel, so check them out if you haven't done already. And the rest of them are still to come, but we will work our way through the whole of this wave, so stay tuned for that. So onto the figure itself. As I said, it's not the most interesting choice for a figure, but as I said, now that I actually own it, I'm a little bit more impressed with it than I thought I would be. A few fans and collectors have taken to calling this one Mr. Amidala, because apparently she looks a bit like a man, but if that is the case, she's the most feminine looking man that I've ever seen. It's a fairly accurate piece. You know, the hair is pretty accurate, the formal dress is as near to the actual costume that's seen in the film as you can get. There's some really nice decorations on it, such as the very regal designs on the sleeves there, on the arms, and obviously up the middle of the torso. You've got that elaborate hair design as well. In terms of accessories, she only comes with a sort of the Naboo style blaster pistols, which she doesn't actually use during this scene, but it's nice that they included an accessory nonetheless. And in terms of articulation, Queen Amidala has a ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders and elbows. She actually has ball jointed wrists, so if you imagine the ball and socket joint that the head moves on, the wrists are very similar to that. They don't swivel and they're not hinged, they're actually on a ball and socket. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but you get a bit more movement out of those wrists this way, which I think is quite cool, quite innovative on the part of Hasbro. She has a swivel torso, and then below that she's basically just a statue because she doesn't move. There are no soft goods elements to this figure, it's all plastic, and overall it's a really nice looking figure. Not particularly my favourite Queen Amidala costume, but then again I don't suppose I have the same level of fashion sense that the women do in Star Wars. So just to give you an idea of that head sculpt, we're going to do a typical 1080p HD zoom. So again, if you're watching this on a speedy computer, you can whack this up to 1080p and watch this review in full high definition. But there is the facial sculpt anyway. As I said, not a bad one, and a reasonable figure overall. Costume's really well detailed, and as I said, definitely a figure I'd recommend picking up. Although if you're more of an action fan and you prefer sort of battles and all that kind of stuff, then I'd probably give this one a miss because it's a little bit bland. But there you go. So there we are. That is the vintage collection Queen Amidala figure. Not a bad little one. Really like this one. So what do you think, guys? Leave a comment below. And as always, until my next review, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.